So this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I personally feel that if you are traveling to Disney World with young kids, and I'm talking kids that, they need to have those rides where there's no height limit, or you're traveling with someone in your family or everybody in your family that are non-thrill seekers, I personally think that you should consider skipping Hollywood Studios. So many people talk about skipping Animal Kingdom or sometimes even skipping Epcot if you have young kids, but I think that Hollywood Studios might be the one to skip if you need to skip a park, or if you only are going there for 4 days and your kids are absolutely in love with Magic Kingdom, to go to Magic Kingdom twice and then go to Epcot and Animal Kingdom. But before we jump into the video, I did just want to go ahead and introduce myself in case you're new here. I'm Allison, and here at my channel, I love to make all different types of Disney World content, as well as vlogs from our own family vacations. So if that is content that you love to see, definitely hit that red subscribe button. We also have a Disney World trip coming up in a couple of months, so there's going to be tons of content on getting ready for that trip, as well as vlogs from that trip. So definitely subscribe so you can check that all out, and let's get into the video. Okay, so my number one reason for me thinking that this might be a park to skip if you have really young kids is because there's not really any places to just kind of like roam around. Sure, you can walk around the streets of Hollywood Studios and look at things, but it's a different feel than the other parks where you are just kind of walking around. One of the things that I struggle with is in Hollywood Studios, they have one of my favorite rides, which is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. This is one of my absolute favorites. It doesn't have a height requirement. It's such a cute ride. It's the only ride in Disney World that features Mickey Mouse and the gang. There's nowhere else that you can go that has a ride starring them. So that kind of that's really the only thing that lures me to Hollywood Studios right now. I am a non-thrill seeking adult. I don't like the big coasters. I also have young kids who don't like big coasters. So for us, it's just kind of, there's not a whole lot for us to do there. It's really kind of like a half-day park for us. So I do want to go into the things that they do have for young kids, though, just in case there is someone in your family that really wants to go there, whether they love Star Wars or Toy Story, or you really want to go check out the Mickey and Minnie ride. What else is there to do if you really want to go check out that ride? So we are going to go into the things that they do have that don't require a height limit for your young kids. So when you first come in to the big opening, is where you're really gonna find the majority of things to do. So that's Echo Lake, Commissary Lane, and Animation Courtyard. So here is where you're gonna find the Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway ride, and then you're also going to have a lot of shows that are really great for kids to go to. So the thing about the shows is when you're looking at it, you're like, oh, look at all these shows, this is great. But each show is 15, 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes. So some little kids can get really bored with that, So when you're looking at it, say, oh, but they have all these shows, your kids might really only want to do 1 or 2 shows and then be completely done. So they do have a bunch to choose from. They do have the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular. This is probably the longest. It's 30 minutes long. It speaks for itself. It's a stunt show. It basically goes into, the making of Indiana Jones and all the stunts that they have to do. It is a cool show. There is some suspense to it. It's thrilling. So, I chose not to bring my kids to this show. I have personally been to this show when I was younger, and it is cool, being an older kid, but this might be one to skip if you have really young kids, or ones that, might get a little nervous with all the loudness of it. And, it's not, like Ariel or Frozen. If your kids wouldn't be interested in something like that, this might be one to skip, especially if you're thinking, oh, they might be okay with 1 or 2 shows. You might want to pass on this one. Because if your kids are fully into like Disney princesses, I mean, this is where you come if you want to go to shows for the Disney princesses, because you have the Frozen sing-along show, which is a very cute, it's for Frozen 1, and you know, it goes through all the songs of Frozen. The hosts that are there are hilarious. They do really funny jokes, so it's actually really great for grown-ups and kids, because the hosts and the hostess that are there doing the show actually really make it a really great show. Otherwise it's just singing along to the songs, which is great, but they make it into a show and make it really fun for everybody, including adults. So now we also have the new Little Mermaid show, which I haven't seen yet. It just opened like a few weeks ago. So, you know, I'm not going there for a couple of months, so I haven't been there yet. But from what I see of it, it looks really great. We're definitely going to check it out when we do go. And then, so those are the shows in that area. Now, they used to have, no, actually, I'm not going to say used to because it hasn't closed yet. They have the Disney Junior Dance and Play, is a little area, you know, tucked away, kind of like an animation courtyard area, where they have certain Disney Junior characters come out and do like some dancing. But this is actually closing on September 25th, 2025. So September 24th is the last chance for you to go see that. They are completely redoing that entire area. Now, my hope is that they do something for those little kids, because that was really like the Disney Junior area was really like the only spot for like those really little kids. So hopefully they have, you know, because that is what Hollywood Studios is missing. I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here, so bear with me. There is no play area outside of rides and attractions. So there's no water splash play area, there's no little climbing structures. So that is really what Hollywood Studios is missing, and I'm really hoping that they bring that to this area. So we will see, because my opinion might change once things get a little bit more built up what they're doing. I mean, they already took out the Muppets area and they're putting in a Monsters Inc. land. So I'm hoping with these new lands that they're building, that they really take into consideration those young kids that sometimes need something other than just a ride or attraction. They need a water play area. They need something to climb on, where a grown-up can just sit down and relax and your kids can go play. You know, Epcot has that. Animal Kingdom had that. We will talk about that in the next video. Magic Kingdom has the Splash and the Casey Jr. Splash area. They have the Dumbo playground in the indoor playground. So they have those things that really Hollywood Studios is missing. Even in Epcot, you know, even if you took away the playground structures that they do have, there's Moana Journey of Water, where you can literally just walk around for a long time. They have the aquarium, where you could spend so much time with your young kids just walking around and doing those things. Or even in World Showcase, going around to the different areas. You know, they have KitKat and all those things. Hollywood Studios just is missing that. It's missing that. And that is why I do think that if you need to eliminate a park, if you need to, my suggestion would be Hollywood Studios, unless, like I said, you have a diehard Star Wars fan or Toy Story fan. Okay, so getting back into the attractions, in that same area, they also have Walt Disney Presents, which is a little area that's dedicated to Walt Disney. They have a bunch of little like art pieces and things like that. And then there's also a 15-minute documentary about Walt Disney. So this is a nice little area to go into. You know, especially if you want to get out of the heat and you just kind of you're waiting around for something, you can just go look around and check that out. And then there's also Vacation Fun, which is a Mickey and Minnie short in this little theater. So that's over near like Backlot Express, over back in that way near Commissary Lane. So that is another little short little movie that you can go check out. And then we're going to venture over to Sunset Boulevard, and that has the Beauty and the Beast live on stage, which is a wonderful production. It really is a nice show that's been there ever since Beauty and the Beast even came out. So it's been there for a long time. It's a really nice show to go to. And then there's also the new Villains show. It's called Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After. So I haven't seen this one. It's pretty new. I don't really know if we're gonna check it out. My kids are not really into the whole villain thing. And that's something to consider. It is only about the villains. Like, it is just the villains. So if your kids do not like villains, you should probably not check this one out. I mean, they don't have to love villains to go see it, but if they don't like villains, you probably shouldn't go check it out. But that one is all the way in the back. That took over where the Cars show was. So that's, back past Rock and Roller Coaster, back that way. And then, of course, there is also Fantasmic, the Fantasmic show, which takes place every night. This one is great. It's a really, really great show, even for kids, for everybody. This is a good show to go to if you happen to be in Hollywood Studios. So now we're going to go into Toy Story Land, where, of course, and like I forgot to mention, they do have a whole bunch of character meet and greets as well. So that is other things that you can do with your little kids in the park, and for any park. For every park, there are character meet and greets in all the parks. So when we go into Toy Story Land, obviously you're going to be able to meet Buzz and Woody and Jessie. And then you also have Toy Story Mania, which is, if you're familiar with the Buzz Lightyear ride in Magic Kingdom, it's similar to that. You get in, it's almost kind of like you're going to like a little arcade. You do have 3D glasses. Your kids do not need to wear the 3D glasses if they don't want to, but it's another one of those where you're sitting in the little vehicle and you have to shoot at the targets. It's actually on a screen, so it's a little bit different than the Buzz Lightyear one in Magic Kingdom, where like the Buzz Lightyear one is, it's a whole scene. This is more like screens that you're kind of traveling to. You're traveling to different screens, and each screen has a different game that you do. You're shooting the targets, you're shooting the plates, whatever it is that you're doing. That is really it when it comes to rides and attractions for kids with no height limit. Star Wars Galaxy Edge has no rides or attractions without a height limit. You can spend a little bit extra money and you can go and build a lightsaber or a droid. The lightsabers are not really meant for young kids. It's not really a toy. It's more like a very expensive souvenir. They do have in one of the gift shops, you can get like the plastic ones that are a toy. So you could do that. I don't want to get too much into that because I really only like to talk about the things that are included that don't cost extra. But if you do happen to be there, you can go ahead and do that. But Galaxy's Edge is really, unless you're just walking around, your kids really like Star Wars, even if they're little and they can't get on any rides, it still might be fun for them to just walk around and see all the characters. There is something about that, about being there if you love Star Wars and seeing everything and being immersed in the land. There is something to be said for that, even if you can't go on any of the rides and attractions. So that is it for Hollywood Studios. And so as you can see, that is my reason for possibly needing to eliminate this park if you needed to eliminate one. If you have Hopper, definitely check it out. Check out the ones that would be fun. If you want to go ride a couple of things and then head over to Epcot, to go into the other little areas, or even do half day at Hollywood Studios and half day somewhere else, that could be the way to do it. If you don't have Hopper and your kids don't, or nobody in your family cares about Star Wars, Toy Story is whatever, and there's not really something that someone needs to see, I would suggest skipping Hollywood Studios. Now, that might be an unpopular opinion, but it's my opinion. And if this helps someone, save some money by not going someplace that's not going to be a full day thing for you, then, that's what it is. So if you like this video, please go ahead and give me that thumbs up. If it helped you out in any way, let me know in the comments what you think. I'm interested to know what other, parents of young kids think. If you've taken your young kids to Hollywood Studios and had a blast and you totally disagree with me, let me know down in the comments. I'm really interested to hear your take on it. So go ahead and subscribe and like this video, and next time we're going into Animal Kingdom. So we'll see you then.